Hello, so this is my capstone presentation on nurturing resilience, enhancing teacher well-being, and preventing burnout through organizational processes. I am Melanie Amontiad, and this capstone is presented to the teachers of the college faculty of Western Governors University in partial fulfillment of the requirements for the degree Master of Science Curriculum and Instruction. So, research topic overview. What is teacher burnout? Teacher burnout is a state of chronic exhaustion due to the demanding nature of education. The causes of teacher burnout are challenging student behavior, unsatisfactory pay, hostile relationships with coworkers and administrators, and last minute and additional demands. Research problem. So, the lack of resources or solutions to prevent teacher burnout. Burnout is one of the main causes leading teachers to quit, and majority of teachers ignore their needs and their well-being, and majority of this is due to the lack of effort because of time. So the research question: how can an organizational process addressing teacher burnout help teachers' well-being and the students' access to a quality teacher? The product associated with the research is a report based on the data collection that addressed the teachers' perspectives on teacher burnout. And here is a snapshot of the product itself on the right-hand side. So using a questionnaire that had 10 open-ended questions that was addressing burnout, this was distributed amongst the participants at the school that I currently work at. And this questionnaire gave a better understanding of a need for an organizational process. So the findings and conclusions, based on the qualitative data from the participants, the qualitative data was analyzed and it did in fact prove that an organizational process is needed. And this organizational process will cater to the teacher's well-being as well as the student's access to a quality teacher. Part of the recommendations are a scheduled workshops throughout the school year. This is part of the organizational process, and these workshops will address the main issues being administrative support, student behavior, and stress management. It will also include a follow-up process that evaluates these workshops. Resources for the recommendations. So one of the resources I found is opensesame.com, which is a fully remote company, and it provides a variety of trainings to help businesses, companies, as well as educational field job related trainings. Some of the trainings include internal workshops, which is in-house training, so between the administrators and staff and teachers, and as well as external training. So reaching out to professionals who can target the three main concerns regarding teacher burnout. So research methodology. Again, the research question: how might an organizational process for addressing teacher burnout be developed to address teachers' well-being and students' access to a classroom teacher? The participants and stakeholders were teachers at the school that I currently work at, 1 male, 7 females. These teachers have the range of bachelor's or master's degree, and on average 10 plus years of teaching. And the grade levels that they teach are kindergarten through 5th grade. So the resources that were needed was internet access, computer and laptop, Google Forms, a printer, exchange of information via consent form. All the data and information were kept confidential through password-protected devices as well as the confidentiality agreements. So as I mentioned, the data collection instrument was a questionnaire of 10 open-ended questions that you can see here on the right. The questions were regarding teachers' perspective, referring to teacher burnout, and this questionnaire produced qualitative data. Data analysis techniques. So I analyzed the qualitative data using thematic analysis, and through thematic analysis, emergent themes were analyzed from the data. So going to go through each question. First, what can your administration or school district do to support your well-being? Here you see a graphic of the data through a word cloud. Overall, more support for teachers, addressing concerns promptly. Majority of the time, teachers will have a complaint or discuss an issue with their administrative people and nothing is done, or there is a lack of effort for the concern to be addressed. Consistent with consequences regarding student behavior. When it comes to student behavior, again, there's no consistency with helping the teacher have that student be behavior in control, as well as the parental relationships and involvement. Sometimes the lack of parental involvement affects the support of the teachers, and administrators don't really show up for the teachers when it comes to that, or the parental relationships between the teachers. It can be negative, and when it comes to administration, their help is not there as well. What has helped you the most when managing work related stress? Venting to coworkers or sharing concerns. There really is no solution to managing work related stress. Teachers just kind of do their own thing, and they also look forward to the conclusion of their day. Again, this is all pulled from the responses of that questionnaire. How effective do you feel at your job as a teacher? Majority felt neutral about their effectiveness at their job. Some want to be more effective, but the students are behind academically. So it's hard, for example, a teacher who teaches third grade and the students are reading at first grade. So there's extra work and time to be done for a certain students. Also, due to the unsupportive environment, which influences their reluctance to wanting to show up to work. How satisfied are you at your job overall? Overall, unsatisfied due to teacher burnout. This is coming from seasoned teachers, so the teachers who have been at the school for 10 plus years, they feel unsatisfied. There really is, again, they express no solution to cater to the teacher's well being. Some of the participants who are under 10 years of teaching, they say they feel neutral or somewhat satisfied. Based on that qualitative data, it just hasn't been enough amount of years maybe to feel the fully impact of teacher burnout. How would your students perceive you as a teacher? The responses being kind, caring, or mean. Unfortunately, teacher burnout does impact the student's perception, and this is due to the lack of patience and support, which causes the students to perceive the teachers as quote unquote mean. So, what causes your work related stress? Lack of support from administration, as mentioned, student behavior, and overall stress without resources to cope. How satisfied are you with your work ethic at the end of your day? This is pretty interesting compared to how satisfied teachers were with their work overall. So, a majority of the participants felt neutral about their work ethic. Due to high levels of burnout, it is difficult for them to provide quality work ethic, which they do know impacts the students. So, overall, from this data, I gathered teachers are basically trying to do their best, but it is hard, which is why the response majority turned out to be neutral. How often do you think about quitting teaching? Teachers do think about quitting quite often, but one of the main reasons why it's difficult for them to leave is that they have dedicated so much time to teaching, especially if they have just been at this one school for so long, and this really affects their mental health. How do you manage your stress? There is no identifiable solution when it comes to managing their stress. Majority of them just power through till the end of the day, or they feel that they disassociate themselves during the workday. How would you describe your well being throughout the workday? Overall, poor well being, or they're unaware, meaning they're just, again, powering through, it's not on their radar, or they simply just don't care, which is pretty sad if you ask me. It's very important that our teachers have high well being. So the results and conclusions. Results being an organizational process should take place throughout the school year. And this organizational process should address these three main topics. Administrative support, which is the relationship between administration and teachers, supporting the teacher's needs. Stress management, providing resources for stress management, and a check-in process would be included with the organizational process to check in on the teacher's well-being. Behavior support for students, mainly being consistency with consequences for students that have malbehavior and addressing the concerns for student behavior promptly. So, the strengths and weaknesses of the methodology. Some of the strengths are the study did allow the teachers to express their perspective of teacher burnout. And through that, the three main reasons were identified as mentioned earlier. And this inspired the creation of an organizational process for teacher burnout. Some of the weaknesses was lack of time or eagerness that resulted in vague responses. And also, the questionnaire could have included an open ended question that related to what resources would help with teacher burnout. Some of the influential factors that affected the study results, vague responses, Google form versus printed questionnaire. Majority of the participants asked for the Google form questionnaire, and some asked for the printed it out questionnaire. Those who asked for the Google form, their responses were a bit more detailed compared to the printed questionnaire. And also unexpected interruptions during the research timeline. So teachers have gotten sick, family obligations, and vacation time. Further investigations. So, further investigations would be to connect with other local schools regarding teacher burnout, asking them how their teachers are feeling and if there is any sort of organizational process or resources that they're using to help that. Researching local organizations that could contribute to improving the overall well being of individuals. So, life coaches or trainers who help with companies, but who could also help teachers in education with their well being, with the overall structure of the administration and the teachers. Behavior therapists who can help with maybe training teachers to aid the behavior of students. Um, and that's included with the outside resources as well for the trainings. So, with that, that goes back to the recommendations, which is the organizational process of scheduled workshops, including internal and external resources. Internal being between in house, so administrators, staff, teachers, and external being third party services. And this will conclude every third quarter, so every 3 months, a workshop will be presented or will be conducted. And these workshops, the first workshop would address the administrative support, second, student behavior, third, stress management. And this is the organizational process developed to help with teacher burnout so that our teachers' well being is catered to and is not affected. And that way, students have a access to quality teachers. Thank you.